Nestled softly beneath the iconic red wrapper lies a flavor that has comforted millions of souls around the world for nearly a century. The harmonious union of velvety chocolate and that familiar crisp snap is not merely a sweet treat, it is a piece of culture, a legacy of time. Yet behind the monumental numbers, 8 million KitKat bars gently crafted every single day, lies a history of resilience and an art of manufacturing so meticulous it borders on the miraculous. Today, let us turn back the wheel of time. Let us step through the hazy mists of history and the gleaming doors of one of the world's largest chocolate factories to witness the birth of a legend. Our story does not begin in brightly lit, sterile laboratories. It sprouted from the quiet struggles and soot-stained hands of the British working class in the early 20th century. The year was 1935. At the bustling yet peaceful Rowntree factory in York, England, an anonymous worker dropped a crumpled slip of paper into the company's suggestion box. The heartfelt plea written on it was incredibly humble, yet history-making. Please create a sweet treat that a working man can easily pack into his lunchbox. This confection could not be a luxury. It had to be modest enough for the meager wages of miners and mechanics. And most importantly, it had to be sturdy enough not to crumble after hours of grueling labor deep underground or beside the roaring machinery. From that simple, pragmatic desire, Chocolate Crisp, the very first heartbeat of KitKat, was born. This small comfort embraced the working class and eventually stood with Britain through the dark, smoke-filled skies of World War II. When fresh milk became desperately scarce, the chocolate humbly shed its red wrapper for a blue one, altering its recipe to dark chocolate so that precious milk could be sent to the front lines. That silent sacrifice forged a resilient spirit. And when the dawn of peace finally broke, it returned to its original red, rising to become a global icon. The journey of sweetness today begins in the distant lands of West Africa. Under the brilliant tropical suns of July, gentle farmers step into the harvest season, a time that demands endurance and a deep reverence for Mother Earth. Their calloused, skillful hands carefully cradle each ripe cocoa pod, gleaming in vibrant shades of golden orange. With precise strikes of a machete, they part the thick outer shell to reveal the pristine ivory beans wrapped in a sweet, slippery pulp inside. But the secret of chocolate is not born in that instant. These beans, carrying the breath of the earth, are spread out evenly across massive drying mats. For 8 long days, bathed in the scorching natural sunlight, they undergo a gentle process of fermentation and sun-drying. Slowly shedding their damp coats, the beans shrink, their outer shells hardening as they turn a deep warm mahogany. This sun-drenched curing process is the first master key, locking in the pure essence and delicate floral notes of the tropics. After passing the most rigorous quality inspections for moisture, size, and aroma, these sacks of cocoa arrive at the state-of-the-art factory. Here they enter a meticulous cleansing ritual that lasts a full 3 hours. Inside sealed stainless steel drums, the beans tumble and rub gently against one another. The machine uses currents of clean air and high pressure to strip away the stubborn outer shells, blowing off the final dust of their transoceanic voyage. Now the purest cocoa beans are ready for a glorious transformation in a sea of fire. The true metamorphosis of all things always begins with fire. Roasting cocoa beans is not merely a physical process, it is a waltz of fire and time, demanding the absolute sensitivity of chocolate artisans, much like roasting the finest coffee. Inside the massive roasting machines, the temperature is controlled down to the exact degree. Just a fragile fluctuation in heat, and the flavor could be forever altered, turning either bitterly harsh or disappointingly bland. As the fire awakens the intoxicating notes hidden deep within, the cocoa beans bloom, releasing a rich aroma that fills the entire expanse of the factory. At this precise moment, they are sent to be finely ground. Physical pressure shatters the bean's structure, extracting drops of smooth, pure cocoa butter and compressing the rest into dense dark blocks of cocoa mass. The magic reaches its crescendo when this pure cocoa powder merges with crystalline white sugar, sweet milk powder, and the closely guarded secrets Nestlé has preserved for generations. This entire mixture is then submerged into the massive conching machine. Conching is no ordinary mixing. It is a relentless process of soothing and refining. Revolving gears patiently grind every microscopic chocolate particle, smoothing out any harsh edges. The longer it is kneaded, the more this rough mixture transforms into a sleek, glossy ribbon of chocolate silk, so incredibly fine that it is destined to melt the very second it touches the warmth of your lips. Finally, a thermal dance known as tempering cools and warms this silk to the precise rhythm of 81 degrees Fahrenheit. This physical discipline ensures the chocolate coat maintains a flawless, glossy finish, forever preventing the formation of dull crystals that could ruin its divine texture. However, if chocolate is the magnificent cloak that adorns the exterior, the fragile wafer layers are the very beating heart of the KitKat. A crisp, echoing heart that delivers absolute satisfaction with every single bite. Pure wheat flour, crystal clear water, a pinch of savory salt, and a secret leavening agent are rhythmically blended into a smooth, airy batter. Through ultra-precise nozzles, this batter is poured into warm baking molds. They must endure a brief but intense 30 seconds under the glowing heat of 350 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. This sudden burst of heat forces them to rise into golden, crispy wafers, perfectly capturing the rustic flavor of countryside wheat. Afterward, cool breezes sweep over them, gently lowering their temperature, preparing them for the final union. And here lies perhaps the most poetic and miraculous secret of the entire production line. Have you ever wondered what makes up that light brown praline filling nestled between the wafer layers? It isn't just ordinary chocolate. It is a beautiful cycle of rebirth. In a massive manufacturing line, there are always KitKat bars that unfortunately crack, scratch, or carry imperfect air bubbles. Instead of being rejected or wasted, they are granted a second life. They are finally ground into a smooth, velvety paste, becoming an exceptional binding praline. Thanks to the sacrifice of their siblings that came before them, the wafer layers are held firmly together without ever losing their signature crunch. A flawless perfection of industry where not a single drop of dedication is ever left behind. Once the three-tiered wafer heart is secured, they glide peacefully through a cascading waterfall of molten chocolate on the modern conveyor belt. That smooth cascade falls over them, embracing every millimeter, draping the wafers in a rich, flavorful silk. Every edge is covered, seamless and perfect. Waiting for them just ahead are the remarkably graceful cutting blades. In the blink of an eye, the endless ribbon of chocolate passes through, and the blades gently divide them into perfectly uniform, beautiful portions. Over 200,000 KitKat bars are born every single day on just one line, as rhythmic and precise as the ticking of a vintage Swiss watch. Finally, after passing under the watchful eye of a laser inspecting every minute detail, dexterous robotic arms gently wrap them in shining foil and their familiar red attire. The boxes are sealed, sending them onto trucks filled with joy, piercing through the night to scatter across every corner of the globe. In 1958, KitKat delivered a simple yet profound message to the world, forever changing how we perceive the act of resting. Have a break, have a KitKat. Amidst a world that is always rushing, endlessly turning, and filled with invisible pressures, that invitation feels like a peaceful sanctuary. The sound of snapping that crisp chocolate bar in half does not just awaken the taste buds. Psychologically, it is the sound of letting go. A perfect excuse for us to momentarily set aside our worries, refresh our spirits, and smile at the present moment. From the modest hopes of a hard-working man feeding his family in the 1930s, to the meticulous care of modern machines lulling glossy chocolate to sleep, KitKat is a beautiful testament to one truth. Sometimes, the greatest and most enduring happiness comes from the simplest of things. That is the process, the art of time and craftsmanship. If you enjoy these unhurried films exploring the heritage of our food, let us know in the comments so we can journey together into the next story. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Reward yourself with a sweet moment of rest, and until next time.